Let's talk about sound. Do you remember the trolley going by, ding, ding, ding? You heard that guy? Okay, I'm not going to put him back on because it takes a minute. This is great. This is absolutely great. I showed you a year ago a little soundboard that I got from a company called Electronics 123. And it was expensive. It was 10 bucks. 9 something if you bought 10 of them. And it had the ability to plug into a computer with a USB, and you could take any MP3 and put on it. I think it was up to 25 seconds of good quality sound. I have 11 of them at Children's Hospital. And they feed into old computer speakers, and they do all the sound effects, and they're excellent. They've been running for, it'll be 2 years in May. No problems at all. They just came out with a new one. This one is almost twice as much. It's 17 bucks. It will do up to 300 seconds of sound, which is what, 5 minutes? That's a medium quality. If you want it really high quality, it cuts that roughly in half. So a couple of minutes, but it has 4 triggers. And if I push one trigger, let me get this untangled.
Clear the area, blasting in 10 seconds.
Anybody remember that when I had an animation that I did a while ago of a mine explosion. That was me saying that we're going to blow up the mine. That's coming out of that little bitty speaker. What would happen if you put a good set of speakers on it? We use that one when we set up at the Greenberg shows. We have it on a radio control, so if the kids start to reach at the trains, we hit it and scares the bejabbers out of them. Crossing bell. Oh, that's the elephant animation from Children's Hospital. 17 bucks. That's what I've got in here. That is the same board. That is the same speaker. And I've got 4 triggers that go right into the PICAXE, the microcontroller. It's not actually a PICAXE, it's related to it, that says do a 4-ding bell when you stop and do a 2-ding bell when you reverse. Could I also have it saying in my voice, you know, leaving Pittsburgh, headed for DC or something, whatever you want. Because it's, again, you plug it into your computer and whatever file you want to put on it, you put on it. Here's the thing that's remarkable. Glasses. I'll do it without them. All right. Get this, get this.
By the torch.
By the torch. Ha! It's one of those catch-22s. You can't find your glasses without your glasses. This thing also, and let me see if I have that as the next thing in my, records up to 300 seconds, easily connects to external speaker systems, triggered by push button, blah, blah. Ah. It also can be triggered by Aristocraft's Revolution. So if you wanted basic sound, just a horn and a bell, whistle, whatever in your train, you could get one of these boards. It plugs right into the auxiliary on the Revolution. And I'm going to give this thing, give me a second here. I need different battery. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Ah. See, that's something, Noel, you asked to do something. I should have made you the keeper of the batteries. Okay, got that. And I need to plug that into here. Whoop, I just unplugged it. This is a very inexpensive set of speakers for an iPod that I picked up. We were down in Florida a week or so ago. I think I paid 10 bucks at a dollar store. How can I have a dollar store that charges 10 bucks? Anyway, reasonable.
Clear the area, blasting in 10 seconds.
Would that be cool to have in a building, or you could put that in a box car behind the Revolution, have those pins, and you can, I don't know what that is, but whatever it is, I recorded it. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Okay. Got that shut down. This is one of my favorite tips of all time. How many of you have bought this stuff? How many love it? When you get a credit card in the mail, There's that stuff on the back of it that holds it to the piece of cardboard. Some of my less elegant friends call it boogers. This is boogers. It's a 1-inch long strip of semi-permanent adhesive. I go through a roll of this in a year, and there's 100 of these little strips. Give you an idea what you can do with it. That board you're passing around, where's the board that has the little lights on it? That's held together with these boogers. And if you've got wires that you're trying to put a locomotive back together again and all the wires go like this, you put a couple of these inside of the engine and you stick the wires to the inside of the engine and they don't come out again. I use it instead of hot melt glue. I use it tons of stuff. I'll pass these around. You're welcome to rip off one of the little guys and play with it to your heart's content. They're wonderful. You may have this one since I already tore that off. Michaels, I think they're about $4. And doesn't Michaels run a 40% off coupon every Sunday? So what are you looking at? A couple bucks.
Where do you get that?
Michaels.
Oh, Michaels. Okay.
And there's a couple different brands. I like the one called Dots, and I always get the ones that are purple because it's semi-permanent, they call it. There's other ones that are less permanent I don't like so much, but Michaels 40% off. Okay. Next tip. If you are not a soldering person, you probably don't have a good soldering iron. Even if you are a soldering person, spend a couple of bucks. This soldering iron from MPJA, that's Marlin P. Jones, they're down in Florida. There's the item number. It's $47. It's a digital readout, and you can set it for whatever temperature you want, and it'll hold it. Now, just for your reference, I put my iron at 525 degrees Fahrenheit. That's very hot. You got to get in and out fast. But for me, it works real well. If you're doing something that's real sensitive, you can turn it down to 400 degrees. And say 400 degrees. Digital temperature readout. By the way, the default is Celsius, so I actually keep mine at 360, but yeah. This is the part that has the heating element in it. $7 if you burn it up. I've burned up 2 of them. I bought 5 of the handles there in my cabinet. And if you do surface mount, they also sell a surface mount desoldering iron. Those of you who know what I'm talking about know that's a wonderful thing. Okay. More soldering. If you have a wet sponge that you clean your soldering iron with, throw it away. What you want to use, that's our buddies at Deal Extreme again. I'll pass this around. Take it out of the bag. I don't know what it is. Shavings or spindly things of aluminum anodized stuff. You plunge your soldering iron into this dry, and it comes out clean. Once a month, you turn it upside down, shake out the little pieces of solder, and put it back in the cup. Pass that around, please.
Hey, you can use that on a hot iron, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's expensive. It's with that little base, it's $6, including shipping. If you just buy the thing, if you have a base of some sort, I think it's about half that.
How long does it last?
I've got one that's got to be a year and a half old, and I turn my soldering iron on when I get up in the morning, and I turn it off when I go to bed at night. So I get a lot of use. Yeah, I have to replace my pretty black chair about once a year because my wife gets tired of looking at solder all over it. Okay, the next one. This is Marlin P. Jones, same guys that do the soldering iron. This is excellent. This is $59. It is a DC power supply that has dual meters. One of the meters gives you voltage, the other one gives you current. You can adjust the voltage from 0 to 18. Is that enough for most train stuff? Yeah, it is. It also does up to 3 amps. You can also adjust the maximum amount of current that you're going to feed to your engine. So if you've got an engine, you're not quite sure what's going on, turn the current down to 0, bring the voltage up and slowly increase the current and watch what happens. If all of a sudden it spikes, turn it off. You're probably not going to burn it up. I use this. I have 3 of these. Use them all the time. Again, that's something else that gets turned on in the morning and gets turned off when I go to bed at night. Okay, there's a picture. They have a bunch of different meters. This one, though, happens to be $60, $59.95. And if you have like 4 friends that want one, they think the price drops by another $5 or so if you buy a bunch of them. All right, this is something that comes up all the time. People either email me or phone me, or it winds up on something that I moderate with one of the forums. How do you get 20 volts down to 15 volts? Or how do I get 15 volts down to 8 volts? Well, there's a bunch of voltage regulators and things like that, but the simplest way to do it, if I can find out, is with diodes. A diode, a silicon diode, if you put it in series with a voltage, will drop the voltage by 7/10 of a volt. That's a fact of life. If you wire the diodes back to back, by that I mean there's a little band on the diode, put one with a band this way, one with a band this way, and solder them together, it doesn't care about polarity then. It'll drop 7/10 of a volt. There's a circuit. Now, I want you to observe what's here. I've got a battery with power, and the reason I have two batteries, it doesn't matter what the polarity of the battery is. I've got a pair of diodes here. One's going this way, one's going this way. They're wired in parallel. Here I've got two diodes together. That would drop the voltage by what? 1.4 volts. And here I've got four of them. This would drop it by 2.8. All of them together would drop it by 4.9. And I've got switches here. So I've got switches. If I have all the switches to out, that means they're not in the circuit, whatever I put in is what I get out. If I throw the single diode, it drops by 7/10. Throw the next one, that adds another 1.4. Throw the next one, it takes it clear up to 5 volts. But watch what happens to the train. What I'm going to try to do here